myself, Mother, the media community and fraternity, you're welcome here today, and we pray and hope for your cooperation as we market Uganda and promote Uganda as a destination for hosting good conferences, but also a destination for various investments. Thank you. I will, I think, now take the opportunity to invite Honorable Vincent Bajire to give us his remarks and also to give you a brief. And whatever questions you have, I think we shall ask those questions after the panels have given their submission. Thank you.
Thank you very much, PS, and members of the media. Good morning to you all, and welcome to this briefing. As the PS has mentioned, we are here to communicate our preparedness and readiness to host the Non-Aligned Movement Summit, as well as the G77 plus China. As you may be aware, or as you may recall, the President did appoint a secretariat led by Madame Lucy Nachove, who is the head of public service and secretary to cabinet, to be the CEO of the preparation of the summits. And he also appointed Ambassador Adonia as the deputy to lead us in the preparations of the summits. So this morning, or this afternoon, if it is, we want to say that indeed Uganda is ready to host the two summits, very high-level summits. We have received confirmations in excess of 100 delegations. That is member states, observer states, and international organizations that have inscribed or registered to participate in this event. As you may know, or as I said earlier, the preparations for this summit started way back in February last year, when the secretariat was appointed, and we created a NOC, a National Organizing Committee, led by the head of public service, and it was indeed operated as the whole of government, including the private sector in some regards. So we have had the conference subcommittee, we had the airport subcommittee, a committee on accommodation, a committee on ICT and media, a committee on security and accreditation, committee for works, and a committee at the airport, in addition to a committee on health. Those committees have been doing their work for the last 12 months, and indeed we are happy to report that all committees have done an extremely good job, and we are now ready to receive our visitors. And if I'm not mistaken, there are some who have already arrived. And so the teams are ready. We have trained protocol officers to do their bit. They'll be assisted by senior ministers who shall be receiving heads of state and government from the airport and leading them to the hotels. Now that is the side of the logistics. Beyond that, there is the substance. And the substance relates to the purpose for which the delegates are coming to Uganda. And I'll ask Ambassador Adonia to go into the substance, but also give an overview and background of the two summits.
Thank you, PS Bajire, and thank you, PS Zawede, the mother, like she said. Good morning, everybody.
If you don't mind, could we shift the microphones?
Okay.
Oh, the ambassador.
Or shift the ambassador.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, that's fair.
I thought with high technology they'll be capturing us forever.
No, you can.
We are getting there.
I don't know how we're going to do it, but
We are getting
Musical chairs, huh? Is now everything okay? Thank you. I think both permanent secretaries have really set the scene. I will just go straight to the context. These two summits, really in terms of conferences or summits, they are the next to the UN General Assembly in terms of size. The UN General Assembly is 193 countries, The third South Summit, stroke G77, is 134 plus China 135. NAM is 120. You're having a gathering here that is next to the UN General Assembly, and that is significant. Also, in addition to heads of states and government, rarely the President of the UN General Assembly and the UN Secretary General to be in one place. They are here. And that really talks the importance of this summit. And like the PS says, the substance is really, we're going to really discuss, negotiate actually, not discuss, issues that affect the global south, which are the developing countries. And I'm been privileged to have been selected by my government to lead the senior officials meeting. You know, as you know, we have the senior officials meeting, we have ministerial meetings and summits. So I'll be leading the negotiations to come up with a big final outcome document that will guide the work of non-aligned movement for the next 3 years. We'll also come up with an outcome document for the third South Summit as well that will guide the work of G77 for the next 1 year. So in terms of substance, it's very heavy. And in terms of significance and the spotlight it puts on Uganda as a host and as the next chair, and also to mention that Uganda is the first country to chair both NAM and G77, which is also very, very significant milestone. So I look forward to your questions, probably, but I will have all the answers. Thank you.
You should.
Yeah.
Okay. The questions.
So I'm going to welcome questions from the media, and it will be good for you to introduce yourself and then pose the question. I'll take about 6 questions first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are 5 questions. No 6? Okay, let's start in that order, please.
Thank you so much. My name is Asif Sechunga. I work with DBS TV. Thank you. You've explained how we, as those members that are going to be part of these conferences, are going to benefit. But aside from the preparations, what specifically is Uganda going to benefit? Aside from hosting and then preparations, after or during, what are we going to benefit? Thank you.
Let's
Okay.
to the PS, okay.
Next.
No, let's just take
Let's take the 5 questions.
the 5 questions. And then
Number 2.
William Ortega, UBC. We are expecting local leaders from across the globe and coming from different continents. What is our plan and preparations in terms of translation to make sure that everyone benefits from this?
translation, right?
Yeah. Translation.
Yeah, PS of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs can help us to understand the results that are
You-
confirmed.
You didn't introduce yourself.
My name is Fred Kadi, that is Organ TV. And the Ambassador Adoni help us to go down to issues we are going to negotiate about. We need to understand, get the picture.
Okay.
Thank you. My name is Sam Sami from the Daily Monitor. Related, I would like to know out of the between 1,000 and 1,500 just for a secret how we want to have confirmed. And secondly, how will they investigate
Okay, your last one.
I'm wondering if we are seeing still construction is happening, and the ambassador has really confirmed that we are ready. But according to what we can see, we still have a lot of things to put in place. How sure are we that by Monday everything will be in place so that guests won't be inconvenienced at
Which media house are you from?
Delta TV?
The 6th.
Thank you. Joshua Kamboro, NBS. As these countries discuss issues or address issues that affect different countries, each country has its own interests, and we don't have common interests. What's top on agenda?
Yeah. Take the very first one.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Your BBS.
Yes, Asif Sechunga, BBS. I don't know. During the preparations, as we were preparing for this, there were some demolitions on the votes, and there are some Ugandans that are saying they're taking the organizing committee to court for illegally doing so. Is there any arrangement for them, or is
Yeah.
Two representatives have picked which questions they are going to respond to. I will start with PS Mofa.
Really?
He has to swap? Okay, then let's start with Ambassador.
Then I move the seat.
Yeah,
Eh? Okay.
yes.
I think the questions that are directed to me are issues to negotiate and how do we reach common interests. NBS question on how all these countries have differences. How do we reach, if I get you properly, and then the issues that to negotiate. I think somebody, it was our colleague there. I think let me start with the issues to negotiate. When you look at the global south, who are the developing countries, you can figure out all the political issues that range from conflict, governance issues, human rights, respect for international law, are all really in broad terms the issues that are under discussion. Then you have the economic and social issues, the issues of debt, the issues of financing for development, digital cooperation, poverty eradication. Those are really broadly the issues. But you all know what is happening in the world, or you expect the issues happening in the Middle East, especially in Gaza, to dominate the discussions. And that takes me to the question of NBS, of common interests. Of course, that's what diplomacy is about. We have divergent views, but we sit down, negotiate, and try to reach common positions so that we can have an outcome documents for our ministers and heads of states to adopt. Because a conference without an outcome document is not a conference. You can have a beautiful convention center, nice food, but the outcome document is very, very important. And the assignment I've been given by my bosses, the minister and the PS and from the president, is to make sure that all these divergent views lead to common positions. And I will not go into details. There is a way we do our business. We'll be meeting up very late in the night, and I can promise you that we will reach common positions. And apart from the final outcome document, we will have a declaration on Palestine. Palestine is a standalone issue in NAM. There is a ministerial committee meeting that sits, and that declaration is already being negotiated by member states. Then we'll have a political declaration from Uganda as a host, which, we set our vision for the chairmanship for 3 years of NAM. And that also is kind of negotiated by member states. Everything in NAM is negotiated. We have a vote of thanks motion by member states thanking Uganda for hosting the conference. So those are the 4 main outcome documents that will be ready by the end of the summit. Thank you. Hope, if you have a follow-up question. I mean, the issues Uganda is taking to NAM as a chair, we have our theme, which is shared prosperity. Really, shared prosperity means that you can't have one part of the globe prosperous at the expense of the other parts of the globe, which really speaks to the SDGs. If you are all familiar with SDGs that were adopted by the UN, they talk about sustainable development and shared prosperity. So that is our theme. But also we don't limit it to our theme. We also limit it to other issues of common interest like decolonization, like disarmament and other issues. And also we pray that we will really protect the interests of developing countries, both in NAM and G77. But again, I should emphasize that this is the first time one country chairs both at the same time. At the same time, very, very important. Countries have chaired both, but at different times. This is the first time a country chairs both forums at the same time. And these are the only forums that really push for the interest of developing countries at multilateral forums like the UN, even Bretton Woods financial institutions like the World Bank, Geneva, human rights. So we work as a group. Uganda as a country cannot push its interest on the global stage. We work as a group. And you can imagine 193 countries, do the math, 135. We are the majority, G77 in the UN. So we have influence. We are going to be chairing these forums that have influence. Swap.
It's like a dance.
I like it.
Okay, so thank you, Ambassador Donia. So in terms of the theme and what the President guided, that our theme for the 3 years we're going to chair NAM shall be deepening cooperation for shared global affluence. And he has been very emphatic in explaining, using the analogy of coffee, that Ugandans grow coffee, or Africans, and then we import Nescafe, which is a lot more expensive, and the farmer who actually planted the coffee, global affluence. So the issue that Uganda will be pursuing in our chairmanship is, can the countries in the global south that are more developed collaborate with us, countries such as Uganda, and add value to our products? I think that's very critical to note. Now, we expect that we shall achieve benefits from that thematic area that we have chosen, and we expect that indeed we shall attract investors. Just so you know, starting Monday, we shall have a business forum on the margins of these two summits, and that business forum will be held in Serena, Kampala. As we speak, as of this morning, we have over 100 investors that have come from NAM member states that are willing to invest in this country, and a team led by the Ministry of Trade, as well as Finance, and ourselves, Investment Authority, are going to be presenting bankable projects that exist in the country for them to consider investing in those. But beyond that, as Ambassador Adonia alluded, Uganda is going to get what I may refer to as a diplomacy dividend. We are going to have attention as a country for the next 3 years for chairing NAM, as well as chairing G77 this entire year, and that in many ways will attract tourists to our country. As you've heard, we have in excess of 1,500 tourists, or people who are coming to visit. It depends on what you describe as a tourist, but I think a tourist is somebody who spends 3 nights in another location and spends money. So these delegations are coming to spend money in our country, and I must say, not many will come with their food. They are going to eat food that comes from our citizens, our farmers, and indeed we are confident that the benefit thereafter will be big. I cannot say with certainty, but we've had countries that are interested in opening up embassies in Uganda on account of hosting NAM, and for us that is extremely big. But having said that, our constitution, the state objectives, specifically Objective 20, Roman 28, is very clear that Uganda shall be non-aligned. So from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs perspective, we are implementing our constitutional obligation. It's important that you look at it from that viewpoint. And also, the constitution is clear that Uganda shall participate in international fora and engage with the countries that believe in the good for humanity. So I thought that should come out as well. Now, on the issue of demolitions, besides noting that we shall meet in court with those who will sue us, is to say that really, I think it should be a lesson to Ugandans. it should be a lesson to Ugandans that really we should not construct in wetlands. We shouldn't. This is our country. The roads are flooding. Why are they flooding? They are flooding simply because the passage for water when it rains has been compromised by structures that are illegitimate. So that's the reason these structures were demolished. But KCCA would have a lot more to add on to that. Then I think there was a question on translation.
Translation and then the building, the convention.
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, we shall. Now, in terms of a translation, indeed, we've been very fortunate in the sense that some countries have come up. Azerbaijan came out and working with Ambassador Donia and offered government of Uganda as their contribution to the summit. Azerbaijan are the chairs that are handing over to Uganda. So they are not just handing over, they are saying as a gesture of a handover, we have given you all the translation facility or resources. So the individuals that are responsible for translation are coming from, are being facilitated by Azerbaijan. They start arriving this evening and they will be here doing the translation. In terms of the structure, first of all, I want to take this opportunity to commend Dr. Sudhir and his team for putting up that magnificent structure within a short period, and genuinely so. And to say as well that we have held summits in the past in a marquee, but now we have a structure, and I want to say categorically and emphatically that the structure is usable. The structure is usable. The meeting, the last meeting of the NOC is actually happening in the very structure. So we are doing a dry run and testing to see that the technology and everything else is fit for purpose. So the structure is usable, and indeed, if there is anything that is amiss, the team that is running that will pick up the pieces after the summit. But as it is right now, it is extremely usable. How many heads of state have confirmed? The heads of state that have confirmed are 30 heads of state. Unfortunately, there are some who have emphatically said, we are coming, don't broadcast us. But they will be in town. The number is 30. Then we have around 6 vice presidents, around 6 premiers, prime ministers, and a very big list of ministers responsible for foreign affairs. As he has mentioned, the Secretary General of the UN will be here with us. The President of the General Assembly will be here with us, and those alone attract a very huge constituency. In terms of, I think there was a question on the agenda which you handled, isn't it? So friends, that's the state of play in as far as the preparedness is concerned, and we are ready and looking forward to receiving these delegates and hosting them here in Munyonyo. And I want to urge you all that these visitors are not for government of Uganda, they are visitors for Ugandans. So we should indeed be happy that we are hosting them. Uganda is known for being very hospitable. Let us maintain that. They are only here for 8 days, 8-9 days, and as soon as that is done, they'll be going back to their various countries. And thereafter, the work for us at Foreign Affairs will start, including doing mini summits that will be held in Uganda within the 3 years of chairing the movement.
Are you going to have the Secretariat command after getting the leadership of the...
Yes, we are going to have a secretariat for NAM, but not in Uganda, unfortunately. The secretariat will be in New York, and our ambassador, Adonia, shall be the chair of the secretariat. The way NAM works and the G77, there is what they call the Coordination Bureau, and that Coordination Bureau sits out of New York. Yeah. And it is the reason he's going to chair the sessions starting on Monday, such that as he finishes the chairing and he carries his burden to New York, and he deals with it there.
I will leave
And
some
we shall
to you.
and we shall be supporting him from Kampala. Yes.
Okay.
I think you can give us a brief Uganda. if possible.
A bit Uganda, okay. Yes. Okay. All right. Now, friends, okay. Friends, during the day of the summit, which is the 19th, when the summit starts, we shall have an opening ceremony. Now, as you can imagine, we have so many heads of state that are coming to Munyonyo, and there is accreditation that is going on to access this place. So we shall expect, we have set up a media center in Africana, Hotel Africana, to ease the coordination of the media and to make sure that you receive all your information in one place. And we shall have some media here, isn't it?
Some visiting media.
Yeah, okay. So we are going to do everything possible to give a live feed to you, because as you'll appreciate, for G77, we are to sign an MOU with the Secretariat in New York, and that Secretariat has terms and conditions. In those conditions, they are like, first of all, for now, what we discuss is a bit private. You will not be allowed in the senior officials meeting. It's not covered. Am I right?
Or just the opening ceremony.
Only the opening ceremonies are covered, but the detail is not covered. And the plan is to give you as much feed as possible, but operating out of Africana. Out of Africana. Muluganda. I wish it was in Lusoga, but no. Muluganda. Njagala kwebaza banange okusingira ddala mukyala Nakyobe abadde atukulembera mu nteekateeka y'okutegeka enkuŋŋaana ebbiri ze tugenda okubeera nazo, olukuŋŋaana olwa Non-Aligned Movement n'olukuŋŋaana olwa G77 plus China. Tubadde n'obukiiko obw'enjawulo nga tulina akakiiko akakola ku bya hoteri ebyensula, ne tubeera n'akakiiko ak'ebyobwerinzi, ne tubeera n'akakiiko ak'ekisaawe ekyennyonyi, ne tubeera n'akakiiko ak'enguudo, n'akakiiko ak'entambula. Obukiiko bwonna obwo bukoze omulimu gwabwo. Kati olwaleero twagala kutegeeza bannayuganda nti Uganda neeteefuteefu, era enkuŋŋaana ze tugenda okubeera nazo zigenda kutambula bulungi. Enkuŋŋaana zigenda kutandika ng'ennaku z'omwezi 15 ziggwenga ennaku z'omwezi 22. Ekigendwa ky'enkuŋŋaana zino, waliwo amawanga developing countries. Yes, amawanga agakyakulaakulana gonna gegattira wamu mu bitongole bino, ekimu ekya NAM n'ekirala ekya G77, mwe batuula ne bateesa ensonga ezikwata ku mawanga ago. Ffe nga Uganda abagenda okukulembera NAM okumala emyaka 3, tuyina theme, nga theme eyo egamba tweyongere okwenyweza ng'amawanga agakulaakulana, ate nga mu kwenyweza okwo tugezaako okulaba nti abatusukkulumyeko baleeta tekinologi mu Uganda basobole okwongera omutindo ku bintu eby'obulimi n'ebintu byonna bye tukola, naffe tusobole okubanga tubitufulumya mu Uganda. Tuleme kutwala mmwanyi naye tutwale ekyefaananyirizaamu oba nga Nescafe nga kiva mu Uganda naye ng'ate tetutunda mmwanyi bweru ate ne batuguza kaawa nga bamutadde mu kakonteyina ate nga bamutuguza ssente nnyingi ate ng'omulimi afuna ssente ntono atwala ebiseera okumulima n'okumulabirira. Isn't that enough for Uganda, surely?
You tried.
Hey.
Excellent.
Thank you. Friends, thank you very much.
Okay, we thank you very much, the media,
thank
for
you.
having come and been with us this morning. I believe all our questions have been answered this morning. We call upon you, on behalf of government, to market and brand Uganda positively, because for the next 3 years, everyone is going to meet. The torches are on our country. If we want investment to come, if we want business opportunities to come, if we want employment opportunities to come, we have to brand and market our country positively. And we believe and are confident that you're going to do that on behalf of this country, because it is going to benefit you, your parents, your grandparents, your children and grandchildren, and the next generations to come. Thank you very much, and we wish ourselves a successful hosting of NAM and G77 plus China.
My language.